Here we are with the Xav Builds podcast. This show's all about putting positivity back into construction through real, honest conversations. We're talking building, business, and the people behind the projects. My guest today is Carly Dewey, founder of Temperley Homes, and she builds homes. She's a licensed builder, designer, and a powerhouse in the Canberra construction scene. From high-end knockdowns to family-first renovations, she's leading with precision and purpose, all while raising 3 boys and running a boutique team. Today, we're talking about how she went from site sheds to signature builds, what it's really like being a woman on the tools, and how she's helping change the culture of building from the inside out. Carly, really good to have you.
Thank
how
you
you
for
going?
having me. Good. Very
That's all
well.
right. What pulled you into the industry?
I feel like I was just born into it, to be honest with you. My grandfather, he came over from Croatia.
Yeah.
They're called Good Croatian Builders. He wasn't actually licensed. So he was a welder, but just built houses on the side. My father's an electrician. And so I've just been in it my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows. It shows.
Yep.
I'd say, you know, your design and the building you're doing, it's fantastic. Really well done there.
Thank you.
Where has the design side come from?
I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think design is really subjective. So I didn't go and do any of, I don't have any qualifications design-wise. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really like doing it.
Form over function?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? What's your secret? Where do you start?
With clients?
Yeah.
With clients, a lot of the time they'll be coming to me because they want a hand with the design. So I really love being involved right from the start to get a feel for what they want. And then we work with a drafty, but I'll usually come up with the brief,
the feel,
and a sketch. And then we'll send it off, get it drawn up properly, we'll refine it, and then I do all the interiors as well.
Really? And do you work with color palettes, or what's your sort of process there? Does it budget first and then does it go back from that? And
do you know what I do? I ask my clients to send me a Pinterest board.
Pinterest board. Yeah, perfect.
And so then I can see what kind of feel that they're going for, what their style is, what they like. And even if they don't know what they like or they don't have a word for it, I'll be able to pick it up from the photos that they've saved. It's really easy.
Nice. Let's talk about your first job memory. Where'd you start? What's your origin story?
Where did I start? I started, all right, so out of school, I was going to go to uni and be a physio, strangely. My husband is a physio. But I just went to work straight away. I didn't want to go to uni. And I worked for subbies. And then from there, I went and did the building and construction course. I was working for a residential builder. I moved into commercial for 5 years
How'd you find commercial?
Hated it.
Yeah.
I got into the job when we were doing I don't know if you know, the New South Wales, we were building schools. And I enjoyed it enough to stay. And then I sort of got picked up by the boss and taken off what I was doing and moved into apartments and more of the
multi-res sort of stuff.
Multi-res, but not so much the building side, the development side. So we were finding blocks and developing them, which I love doing. All while doing that for those 5 years, I was also doing some things with my family, building and selling just houses. I got my license in 2011. 2011. So it's been a while. And so we just like build and sell one a year. And that would just give me like full creative control within budget, you know.
And you buy it, do what you wanted to it, and then sell it? Is that
not me?
Not
my
you?
family would
Your
buy
family?
the block.
Yeah.
And then I'd be it's
the builder.
Collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant with my first son. And then I worked for my father full time. He's a commercial electrician, doing all of his paperwork and all that sort of stuff. And then ramping up the building. And then it wasn't until 2022 when my youngest was 1 that I got an opportunity to do a bathroom reno. We were doing a dual occupancy, and then there was a guy down the street who was like, my daughter really needs a bathroom. And at the time I felt really stuck in the family business and I wanted to break out and do my own thing. I couldn't figure out how to do that though. So I took that as the opportunity and made no money and did so much of it myself. And it was terrible, but it was the best.
Yeah.
It was like my ticket out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just kept going from there.
It just snowballed from there, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Mm.
And now you're building homes
Yes, for people,
for people.
for clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you start that? That just rolled on from the bathrooms that went from a bathroom to the next one or?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
We had done maybe 10 projects up until it, like just one or two a year before that for the last 10 years. And then it grew into taking on clients for complete houses.
Did you start with the trade sort of thing, or was it just on site doing whatever needed to be done type of deal?
I started out as a contract administrator.
Yeah.
And then my track was going to be project manager commercially.
Boring.
Fucking hated it. So boring. I can't sit down and do paperwork. So yeah, I love just
being on the tools.
I love being involved. Yeah. So I wish I had a trade, but it wasn't accessible for me. So couldn't do it.
Which one would you do?
I wish I did carpentry for sure.
Yeah. You wouldn't be a sparky?
No.
No.
I don't feel like it. No.
Carpentry?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Just as that base, but I feel like over the years now, I've not that I am a carpenter, but I've got that.
You've got that base.
Well, I've got that base, got all the tools, I've got all the,
Looking at your social media, you've got a lot of skills there.
Well, I'm trying.
In terms of I feel like when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I thought you were a carpenter.
I wish.
Definitely thought you were a carpenter.
No, I just hang around long enough,
Yeah.
I'm just like a pest. I just am watching my selfies all the time. They're probably like, fuck off. But I love it.
What makes Templey Homes different? Is it the detail, the culture, the clients?
Well, I think so obviously.
That's your building company, right?
That's my building company. Yeah. That's what I started all the way back in 2011.
Yeah.
And I think now our difference is that we're female-led.
Mm-hmm.
People come to me, like I said before, for the design as well. But also a lot of the time, the feedback that I'm getting is that they can ask whatever they want. And I'm not going to say that's a dumb question. I think it's just that female perspective.
I was actually going to say you definitely have an advantage in terms, like for my businesses, we primarily deal with the woman of the house. She's the decision maker. She knows exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
She knows how she wants it to look. If you try and deal with, the bloke, most of the time they don't care. They're like, look, where's the barbecue going?
Yeah.
And when's it going to be finished and how much is it?
Yeah. She cares what it looks like. She'll be making the decision.
Yeah. So I feel like you've got a really real advantage there in terms of, like you were saying, like there's no sort of barrier to being asked any question. Because I sometimes find, dealing with the decision makers or the woman of the house, sometimes they can be a little bit apprehensive and not want to ask stupid questions. But my answer back to that is there's no stupid questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure you haven't, built a house or built a deck or built a, done a landscaping project before. And if you have, then, you might know a little bit, but there's no stupid questions.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the time people are intimidated by, tradies.
They are.
In general. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's our.
Where did Templey come from?
Well, one of the first.
I'm saying it right.
No, yeah, Templey.
Yeah, Templey.
The first house that I was involved in building, I was like 11, right? And my parents were building a house on Templey Street in Nichols. It was Dream Street 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was just like the introduction into actually building a house.
Yeah.
So I was in there like painting all the wardrobes and stuff and just fucking loving it. So
yeah, was your old man a hard taskmaster?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm doing a bit of stuff at the moment with my wife at home. We're fitting out the garage and she's doing the painting and I've been doing the carpentry. And it's
not going well.
Yeah. No, I'm really enjoying working with her, but sometimes I've got to check myself. I'm like, she's not an apprentice that works for me.
Yeah.
I've got to be like, a little bit nicer.
I don't think I could work with my husband. I love him very much, but he has his own business. That's his business. And I've got my business.
Yeah.
If we're trying to build furniture together, it's not, no, just know your limits.
Yeah. So talk to me about, female led. So it's you, who's in your team?
Well, I did have a carpenter last year. She's going through she's casual now.
Yep.
So I'll maybe look at taking on some more people. What I really would love is a female team. So in saying that though, my top priority is quality. So in saying that is if there are men that do the job better than we hire men. Anyway, so it's just me and an admin person at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I just have this amazing team of trades.
And what have you got going on at the moment?
We are doing a renovation extension, but it's sort of like complete gut. And the extension is the same size as the renovation and it's very big. But it's going well.
That's awesome.
Just finished a little bathroom and then also doing another house that is actually the third stage for them. And this is the completion of their house. So first we did their ensuite and laundry, then we moved on to the bedrooms and their main bathroom, and now it's the rest of the house. We replaced the roof. All the windows have been replaced, external painting.
Big job.
Everything. But
Nice.
that's one of the things that I really like is those customers that keep coming back.
Yeah. What's your key to success there?
I
What are the things that you focus on when you're working with a client or?
think we build pretty good relationships. I think it's because I've got terrible anxiety. So I'm always like a big people pleaser, which I'm getting better at, but I also really enjoy it. I really enjoy building something that's quality and that they enjoy and that they know that they can trust me. And I think that shows there's like 3 or 4 of my clients that we've done heaps of stages. So I think it's a good sign if they keep coming back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so when you're building, I'm losing my fucking train of thought here. What I was getting at was, sorry. What drives you? Where's the passion come from? Like, is that why do you build?
Why do I? I ask myself nearly every week, why am I doing this?
Well, when I saw you with the installation, I think it was last week. Big day.
No, it's big. Like that took me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
Why? I don't know why. But I actually, I think there is lots of reasons. So I fucking hate it, but I also really love it. Like I could not just sit in an office and work. So a lot of my friends, like in Canberra, public servants or whatever it is, I just could not. I think it's the ADHD. I
Seems to be a common trait with a lot of people in the construction industry.
I only just got the diagnosis. I should have known before. But I love being on site working with my hands. So like insulation sucks, but I'd rather be doing that than the office work. But I actually get a lot of satisfaction out of delivering these things to my clients and building homes, turning houses into homes. I really love it.
What's the process like at the start? So you've won the job, you're booked in to start, you get underway, then what happens?
There's so much goes into it before we start, right? So the beginning of the job is sometimes 6 months, 12 months even. Some people get worried because they're like, oh, I've been planning this for 12 months. It's such a long time, but it's not. And the more time you put into that, the better. Makes everything run smoother once you get going. But we have a few processes that we do in terms of selections, and I like to lay out the design for my clients. So I use 3D renderings so they get a really clear picture of the materials that they've selected and how they're going to work together and what it's going to look like, and spatial awareness as well, like how big certain things are or et cetera. And then, we get underway. We have open communication with our clients. I try not to tell them exactly how long. I mean, we've got a schedule, but I don't tend to give it to them. I'll give them milestones maybe, but.
So you're a little bit different to, I guess, the conventional builder, if you like, in terms of you're more design and build. You want to work with the client from the very start.
Yeah.
And I guess grow their idea into, a nice usable home.
Yeah. A lot of they'll come to me and they'll have like a general idea, but they are using me because they want help refining it.
Design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really boutique. And I think that's a big difference that you've got as well.
Yeah.
At Templey Homes. Is there anyone else doing anything like that?
I don't know. I sort of keep my head in the sand.
Yeah?
Yeah. I shouldn't, but
I wouldn't think you do. You're very open on socials. I love it. I think that, for people that aren't sure about building, you're really doing a good job in, I guess, cluing them into what the process is like and, what goes into it.
I want to make it more accessible.
Mm.
Yeah. And I don't have that, like, I don't think that I have this big ego where I'm going to say I do the best job and everything goes right all the time. because nothing ever goes right in construction,
Mm.
right? It doesn't matter how well you've planned it, something's going to go wrong. And I think that people need to be aware of that.
Definitely. I think what makes the difference between a good builder and a bad builder is when things go wrong, a good builder has a couple of things up their sleeve of how to get out of, a situation.
Yeah.
Can be scary for clients though when
Oh,
something doesn't go right.
Yeah.
And you sort of got to be honest with them. Like, oh, this, the plumber put that pipe in the wrong location, but it's okay. We can, cut up the floor and move that pipe over.
What we like to say in our company is that we pivot.
We pivot?
We do a lot of pivoting.
We do a lot of pivoting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very hard for clients to trust the process.
Any materials or features you always try and sneak into your designs?
Back in the day, my chippies wanted to call me Mobile Homes because I'd have to have there'd have to be mobile somewhere in the external elements. But I like to bring in like natural, if it's a proper timber or timber grain or, I like natural elements, but
They bring a warmth, don't they?
yes,
Yeah.
love it. But also features wise, huge on feature lighting, mood lighting. That makes such a big difference. And also little things like
what kind of lighting? The sconces?
Wall lights, never the big lights.
Never the big lights, yeah.
But we put them in anyway in case you lose something on the floor. You've always got to have options in a room, I think. There's LED strips everywhere. There's wall lights everywhere. That makes a huge difference. When you come home or if it's early morning, you don't want the big lights. You want soft light. I also like to do clever design things like in terms of minimizing hallways or storage is very important. In bathrooms, we like to do the half-height wall. So then it looks like the shaving cabinet's recessed, but it also works as a shelf. Lots of things like that.
Yeah. What's your design style? Is there a specific box you fit into or not really?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. What I would love to do, we'll probably get into this later, but my goal is to go back to what I was doing before in terms of building and selling and just like pushing the boundaries design-wise.
Yep.
And just going nuts a bit.
So you'd more like to buy the house yourself and then do it up and then sell it.
Yes, please.
And you can go mental on everything you want to.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if something's not in stock, I feel like, oh, well, we pivot.
What are your thoughts on the new energy efficiency rating stuff? What about 7-star?
7-star?
Yeah.
Amazing.
You love it?
Yeah. My goal for this year, one of my goals is to do the Passive House course. I would have really loved to do it. Like for time management, that's my biggest pain point. That's my goal. I'm super into having an efficient home.
I had Tom from 35 Degrees on an earlier podcast. He's a real wealth of knowledge on that stuff. Yeah. I love watching it on social media.
Yeah.
There's so many really good operators, particularly down in Melbourne.
They love it in Melbourne.
They love it. And I think that type of design, it should be more prevalent in the ACT.
Oh my God, we're so backwards.
I don't understand why it's not all the rage here, it should be more.
I'm trying to push it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It is finicky though.
It is. And there's a big concern, especially with metal roofs now, or any type of roof, with the condensation issues and trying to, it's like, you got to stick to these condensation requirements now that are very tricky and no one knows what they're doing. But then you also want to have it airtight. So
it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
But I think the Extasana I know does breathe, but I think we've got a lot of work to do there. I think it's good that the government is pushing to bring the energy efficiency rating up in the ACT. We would like to see a little bit more support there though, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. But, it's all well and good to bring out these rulings, but maybe a little bit more guidance as to how to achieve them.
Yeah, that's my sort of take on it. Let's talk 90s house. What was the design intent and how did you bring that to life?
That was a collaborative effort with myself and the client, but it was just myself and the client. And so again, she had some imagery that she loved, and then we just built on that. I can't remember who they were. We found someone on Instagram. They do an amazing job. I'll find them later.
Yeah.
And they were sort of our inspiration. And we put some things together. We also used a service by Josh and Jenna. I don't know if you know Josh and Jenna. They were on the block.
On the block? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. They run a service called Plan Proofing. So we sent it off to them and they deliver this giant booklet back of SketchUp designs, and they go through and they offer suggestions and do joinery layouts and lighting. it's just amazing.
Really comprehensive.
Yeah. So we used a lot of their suggestions as well.
So they came to you and they said, what? We want a house
Well, that-
inspired by the 90s?
Literally, that was the second. I did that first bathroom, and then their ensuite was the second one I did.
Right. Okay.
And that was like complete redesign. I extended the bathroom. The shape was so stupid that you couldn't even get into the shower. So I just extended I made it completely different. So that was, everyone thought I was crazy, but I did it anyway. And that just snowballed.
That's when you know you're on the right track.
Well-
People tell you, no, you can't do that.
I'm going to tell my
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Yeah. So it was the ensuite. And then the next stage was the main bathroom. Again, completely changed. Not completely, but changed the layout, rejigged some things. And then the clients were like, oh, let's just do the whole house. So
After you'd done both bathrooms?
yeah.
Nice.
And they were like, yeah, that was our intent from the start. And I said to them, look, if I had known, I probably would have said no because it was the biggest. I nearly died.
Muck around.
Oh, so much work.
Yeah.
Worth it. It was amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah I nearly died.
Is that a project you drive past today and still go, yeah, nailed it?
Actually, I think, yeah, we did nail that one. That we did a really good job there.
I do want to get it up, but should we try roll? Yeah, we'll try. Here we go. Is this, where are we looking at here? 90s house. I Googled it.
Did you? Don't Google me, Jesus.
There she is. That's a good looking Instagram.
There might be a
Right down the bottom, I
there
think.
might be a highlight.
Up the top?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one?
The Nichols. Go to the Nichols one.
That one?
The round bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nichols. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, now you get the whole behind the scenes too. Me crying on the floor.
Love it. Where do you take your inspiration from? That's the extension for the bathroom?
No.
No?
So I extended the ensuite, but then because I extended the ensuite, then I had to make their master bedroom bigger. And so then that's upstairs, and then we extended downstairs because you know those 90s houses, they have those stupid little, what are they called? You know?
Yeah, I do.
You know what I know?
Bay window? No?
Yeah, no, the whole dining room is like that stupid shape.
Yeah.
Black at Homes, I think.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s anyway. They wanted to square it off and extend it, and so this was a lot of work.
How long was this one? Beautiful. Look at that.
It actually, you know what? I smashed it out because they were living there.
The whole time?
Well, okay, listen, they left, they went on a holiday to Hamilton Island. And so then I just declared it like block week, and I worked 12-hour days for a week. I did a lot, but then look, the better block. They came back and it was like that. So they had to leave for another few weeks, you know, because they had little kids. But a lot of structural work. I loved that. The ensuite, you know, I don't know if you've been to the Marion at the lake.
Yeah.
The new fancy.
Yeah.
In their women's toilets.
I've been in there.
Okay, but in the women's toilets, it's incredible. And that's a big fucking beam through there. I went in there one day and I was like, this is it. This is what we're going to do.
You got to go back to this one. Sorry.
I was jackhammering all the floors. Anyway, I went into the bathroom there one day and I just like got underneath the vanity in this toilet and had a look at how they built it. And then I sent it on to my uncle's welder as well. So I was like, make this for me, please. And then we wrapped it in
Let's go to
stone.
Have a look at the finished product here.
Yeah, there's too much.
Simple, effective. Texture.
Yeah. But also like carrying that through, that is all stone, that whole wall.
That's insane, that.
That's a whole new, there was a lot that went on. That window was 2 windows and then brick in the middle, and now it's just one big. Oh, and then we did that aluminium timber to the ceiling. That took the boys a long time.
This one here? Yeah.
That's a structural post, so I had to leave that one and wrap it. And then the other was the ones following on a smaller. And then it goes all the way up to the ceiling upstairs.
Yeah.
The lines carry through. Yeah, that stone goes to the ceiling. So that's fun in an old house, you know?
Yeah. The walls in and out.
And the ceiling,
And the ceiling.
we made it work.
Did you win? You won for this? Did
No.
you? No? Finalist.
Yeah. I think that was the first and last time that we'll be doing that.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big enough fish for those sorts of things.
I think you are.
I don't know.
I think you underrate yourself a little bit.
It's just me though.
Yeah. But the work you're putting out is fantastic.
Yeah. We like quality.
We do. We do. Where are we at here? All right. What's broken in the industry?
Oh man.
Red tape, culture, standards,
All of that.
all of that.
All of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to say that it's the inequality and, the shit that I've got to put up with is pretty special.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, it's not going well, is it?
I don't think it is. No. But I want to change that. And I think through conversations with people like yourself, we can look at changing the culture and the way that people think about the construction industry. I feel like we're screaming out for people to come into construction, and half of our population is female, and there seems to be and it's always the older type of blokes or they have this mindset that women just can't do it or they don't have the mind for it.
Yeah, the body.
The body. That annoys me. I'm sure it annoys you. What's some of the stuff that you've had to endure? I'm sure you've got a long list.
I do, yeah.
Like, what's the most frustrating thing?
Being told being told that I can't. Even my family held me back for a long time. And yeah, you've really got to just push.
Have they seen your work?
Yeah.
I think that must be really frustrating.
So frustrating to not have support. That really hurts. But yeah, even like working commercially, I'd be we were building some apartments on State Circle, and that's fancy. That's a nice place. Site offices were at the front of the site sheds were at the back of the site. So you got to walk through the construction to get to the site sheds. So if I at any stage was walking through the site, like the steel fixers would be barking at me or, people, it's just like absolutely no respect at all. Now I'm really careful about who I work with, and I've been using my trades for a long time. We've got a really good relationship, and they have to respect me. Otherwise I can't use them. But people who come to my site and they don't know who I am and treat me like shit, it happens all the time. It's very, very hard.
How do you deal with it?
Sometimes I'll not that I'll bite back, but I'll just, feel like, really?
Yeah.
A lot of the time I'll take it because if it's just me on site, that puts me in a dangerous situation sometimes. I had a dangerous situation just last week, and what I sort of have to do is take it and not cause a fuss because, yeah, you can't.
I would say to that, I blame the people that allow that stuff to carry on. And like, construction is a male dominated workplace, but I would say that if someone, if I was on site and I saw someone treating a female not the way that every other person on that site is being treated, I wouldn't feel right without going over to them and saying, "Put your fucking head in, mate."
Yeah, but that's not common. And so it's
how do we make that common? Because if someone stands on the side and allows someone to talk down to a woman on a construction site or make fun of a woman or something like that, I just don't I don't like that. Like I don't,
That's a cultural thing. And sometimes on a site, especially commercial, there'll be a culture of blokey sort of atmosphere. I think it is very, very slowly getting better, but I've heard some horror stories recently and it just gives me very little faith.
It definitely starts with the guys. I think that we need to take more accountability.
More conversations. Like I don't know if you saw David Pocock's reel.
I did. I was about to mention that as well. Yeah.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
And the more that we share that around and talk about it, I think hopefully that will slowly make a change.
Definitely. Definitely. But yeah,
Just make it not cool.
it is not cool.
It's not cool.
It is not cool at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think as we move on in construction and as we realize the value that women can bring to construction,
Yeah.
I think that we're going to be much better off.
We got some great ideas,
Definitely.
us gals.
You look at things in a different way. Like
Yes.
my wife and I, as I was saying just before, renovating our little garage and some of the stuff at the back, like she has some really cool ideas and different ways, different angles that she thinks about things.
Men and women think differently.
They
I went
do.
to an all-girls school for a few years, and then I went to a mixed high school, and some of the shit that the boys would say, I was like, wow. I think, you can't just have, I mean, that's another conversation, but I think in the world we need men and women to come together collaboratively.
I think guys in construction are going to take more responsibility.
Yes.
I think we have to be making it a more friendly environment. I know when guys get together in bigger groups, they can try and outdo each other. And, what they don't understand is the how it makes that person on the other side feel.
And they might not necessarily mean badly, that's just how they're behaving. But for a woman, that's probably really intimidating.
Definitely.
And we're always outnumbered.
Yes. Well, construction, like I had Sean Hardwick in from Hardwick Projects and we were talking about what's important on a construction site. And I think culture is really important, like having a good time, a lot of banter.
Yeah.
Really, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I feel, especially in the bigger commercial sites, it can be the easy target, the woman on site, can become that target and they're usually the minority on there. So that's where it sort of comes in. But pick on a big bloke.
Please.
We got to do something different,
We do.
because the kind of designs and the work that you're doing in the industry, you're really paving the way for more female builders to come in. And
I want that to be the case.
I think you definitely are. I've had a few applications for apprentices and young girls wanting to come and try carpentry. And we've had them out on site for both decks and landscaping. And they've enjoyed it. I think it is physical though.
Yeah. Yes.
And it does, especially on the landscaping side. Like where I was really keen to have a female on site was around the planting and the horticulture side of things. Because you've got that eye for design. Like guys, I guess, don't as much. I feel have that eye for design and the small details.
Depends on the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And looking at your work too, and why I think you're such a good builder is you've really got an eye for that detail.
Thanks.
What are the things that you look for in a good trade?
Well, like we said, number one is that I can trust them and that they have respect for me. And I try and use as many female trades as I can. So respect for them as well. Also the client. Just be a good, decent human being.
Yeah.
Number one. And then it is having that eye for detail and wanting to do a good job and enjoying what you do, because that makes a big difference. If you're like a painter or whatever and you absolutely fucking hate painting, you can do a shit job.
What's your take on better building? Is it about the product, the people, or both?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it comes down to caring. Do you care about what you're doing? Because back to that fucking TikTok inspector house.
Oh yeah, I'm so
Clearly they just didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they didn't know better, but if you don't know better, then you don't care.
That was really disappointing to watch that.
So sad. It took me a long time. People had sent it to me and it took me a long time to open it and watch. I was too anxious.
I got sent it a heap of times as well, and I'd already watched it like 4 times. But
Right.
I looked through that, and that's sort of like what spurred me on to start the podcast.
Yeah.
Is it just like, I'm not going to have someone say that about Canberra builders.
Yeah, we're not all bad.
No, we're not all bad. And I tried to, with the guys in the office here, we were trying to dissect where the builder went wrong to start with.
Yeah.
Like the site cut was wrong, and then everything else from there.
Just snowballs.
Just snowballs.
Yeah.
Like the driveway. Did you watch the full hour-long video?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I just wanted to mute it for a bit.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, but that can sometimes happen. You have like one or two mistakes at the start, and it really does snowball.
They do. We call those jobs cursed.
Well, I try. Yeah,
The job's cursed.
oh, I hate that.
And then we have to sometimes we'll, all right, let's go away for a week, and try and have a
Get the
refresh.
sage out.
Yeah, get the sage out. Yeah,
It happens.
it does. But pivot.
Yes,
Pivot.
You got to pivot.
I think
You got to keep going.
take that step back, recalibrate.
Yeah.
And then reload and re-engage.
Yes.
As Jocko would say. Let's talk about business and leadership.
Okay.
We've gone all over the place on the sort of sheet.
That's
but
okay.
How has leadership evolved for you, especially building a team where you predominantly want to use women? Like, what's your leadership style?
I actually enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I like being, not that I like being in charge, but I enjoy doing it my way. I grew up with, really pretty hard. I've seen a lot of hard things, and I don't believe in, the real masculine energy of, yelling and causing a fuss. And, I just think that we can do it together, and it doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to be rude. And, my biggest thing is being confidence. So having confidence in myself has been very, very hard. It's been a long journey, but I'm getting way better, and that is so helpful.
You've got all these trades coming to you and asking
no one's
you
going to
questions
listen
and,
to.
I guess annoying the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that?
I just know who to talk to.
Yeah.
Because I don't know all the answers. I don't have a trade. I've been around a lot and for a long time. And
you've got an eye for detail though.
Yeah, but I'm really good at just being like, this is how we solve this problem. He knows the answer. We've got to ask him and collaborate that way. The engineer has done this detail wrong, so let's ask him about it and change it. You know what I mean? So it's all about asking questions.
It is.
Clarifying.
The plans are never right. I say this to all of our clients, and I say this to the guys. They're never right. Look, they can be 95% right, and you've got to make up that extra 5-10%, whatever it is. I think that's what being a builder is, or being in construction almost. Like, you've got to know what the rules and regulations are so that you can pivot and get things going.
Yeah.
But a cool, calm, and collected approach.
Yeah.
That's where your vibe is.
Definitely. Yes.
How do you solve problems? What's your go-to?
I just feel like I'm solving problems all day, every day.
That's what being a builder is.
Literally.
Putting out fires, solving problems. Yeah.
All day, every day.
And communication.
Yes. Like, I'm on the phone all the time. That other day that I had 56 calls.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's your go-to? Who are you speaking to on the phone the most?
Everyone. I'm talking to my clients. I'm talking to my subbies. I'm talking to my suppliers. I'm annoying the drafty. I'm annoying the engineer. Everyone.
Would most of your stuff be taken up with the design work or on site? So
on site.
On site? Yeah. So you're there every day?
Yes. It's a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Why is it a problem?
Because I can't be everywhere at once. And so I like to run at least, I like to run 2 to 3 jobs at a time. I feel like that's just a better business move. But in saying that, I can't be on 2 or 3 sites at once. Also, I've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
Also, I'm running the business. So
how are you juggling all of that?
I don't know.
Day at a time.
Yeah, it's not well. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Very good. Biggest business lesson from a tough client or a tough year? What have you got for me?
All right. So what I've learned, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is not to take things really personally. So like if I've got a tough client or I've got a tough build, it's not necessarily my fault and I haven't done something wrong. I know that I've got good intentions and I'm always trying to deliver the best product. So, because a lot of the time I'll take it in. If a client's saying to me, you've done something wrong or this is wrong, I'm not happy with that, a lot of the time it's their frustration and I know that I've actually done a good job and they're maybe just not aware of the construction process or how things usually turn out, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, nothing is perfect. Even in the most beautiful house, nothing is going to be perfect. And that's a journey that I go on with my clients. I think that's maybe why they keep coming back to me after a few stages, because the first one's always really tough when we're trying to figure each other out and they're learning what construction is like. And then going on from there, they feel comfortable and, you know.
That is a difficult part of it, but when you get it right, like last year I don't like to call clients difficult. I think that's the wrong way.
But it is difficult for you.
It can be difficult. Maybe they just need more information.
Oh.
You know, and they want to be really involved in the build, and especially if they're spending a big amount of money, they want to know some of them want to know every little detail.
This is a big issue though, especially if they're living through it. And then I end up spending way too much of my time having meetings every day, explaining everything with them. So I've started to try and move away from doing that, because otherwise you just can't run your business.
It is tough.
Hand holding, it's really hard.
You want to be communicating, and you want them to be involved.
Yes.
So they know what's going on. But you also, it's hard telling a client something is wrong and you need to fix it, or you've got an issue. I find sometimes I want to come to the client with, look, here's the problem, or I've already solved it.
Yeah, I try not to tell them. If there's something that's gone wrong, like I just fix it.
Yeah.
If they need to be involved, I'll tell them, but I will always have a solution. But it's a lot of the time they will come to site and they can't trust the process. So they'll say, oh, that doorway, that's out, but it's only been framed. It hasn't been, there's no jam on there. So of course it's out. Yeah. But, these are the things they don't know.
They don't know, yeah. And that's where you've got to sort of take a step back and go, hey, they don't understand where we're at. And like we had an issue with some tiles that weren't grouted, and there was a little bit of lippage, but once you put the grout on there, good to go.
Yeah.
The client I'd turned up one morning and they had little bits of tape over, 30% of the tiles.
I like when they pull out their measuring tape.
Yeah.
I had a client, they told me that a wall was definitely not structural. But then
Was structural?
me, two other chippies, the engineer, was like, yes, it is structural.
It is structural.
It's structural. Yeah.
Well, they're not doing it all the time. They don't know. I think we've got to try and be as understanding as we can.
Yes.
What would you say to someone looking to build a home that wasn't sure? Where do they start? It's
tricky to say to start with the builder, but I think you really need to get them involved as soon as possible. And that's so hard because maybe they've got a budget, and giving that information out to your builder might be weird, but I think it's really important for the builder to be aware of your budget, and then they can tell you what you can and can't do. So getting started, I'd say engage them pretty quickly. And even just not even just say, I'm going to lock you in as a builder, but maybe offer and say, listen, can I pay you for your advice? Pay you for your time. I've got to get back to charging for quotes, but it's so time consuming, quoting properly and holding people's hand to get to that stage where you're signing them off. A lot of work goes into that.
Yeah, a lot of work. And I don't feel that, I think if clients understood a little bit more the work involved, like you're going through every stick of timber, every bit of door hardware, every, hour that you're on site, that every other trade you've got there is on site. You're trying to quantify every little thing going into this massive renovation or extension or new build.
Yeah.
And, it can it can take days.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a boutique type of cladding or, flooring or kitchen style they want, it can.
And then you've got to engage other people too. You've got to send it out to your joiners and send it out,
And you're right. I think if clients were a little bit more forthcoming with, hey, this is what I'm sort of hoping to spend, then I guess you can work back from there and go, look, this is what I can give you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because everyone's doing renovations now because there is no land. But what we find is really difficult is the scope creep. So they'll say, this is what we want to do. This is the amount of money we have. And then we get into it and they're like, oh, actually, can we do this, this and this? And then I've got to manage the variations and I've got to manage their expectations. And it's tricky.
Very tricky.
Renovations are tricky.
They are. Well, you're dealing with the unknown.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's behind that plasterboard. You don't know what's under that floor. You don't know where the pipes are.
And then I feel bad charging them, but you got to.
Yes. You got to, You were just saying before about, taking things personal. And I was just thinking about that while we're talking. I definitely do that as well.
Yeah.
It's something, I think that it's because we're so invested
in
wanting to do a good job.
Yeah.
We've had it's usually a small minority of the clients, but yeah, they will go hard at you, and it's hard to take.
It is.
Especially when you're really trying for them, and you know
You've got good intentions.
you've got good intentions. You know, wow.
It's especially hard because it's not you physically doing everything. You've got a whole team of trades, and someone else can fuck up, or they've brought in their own subby for the day or whatever, but it's still down to you, and you've got to manage that.
Do you think there's a way we can simplify building?
Maybe, but I do enjoy the complexity. You know, I don't want everything to be the same. I like going in and giving people exactly what they want.
Solution focused mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. How do you stay steady with so much going on? Family, business, multiple projects running at the same time, and it's all on you. What do you do?
I don't know. We just cope, right?
Yeah.
We just make it through. I feel like I was just like born to have like a heavier load, you know, can just carry a little bit more and get through it.
I agree.
Is that a curse? Don't know. Might be. I
call
them curveballs.
I think we like to stay busy. I think I'm a bit like that too.
I like to be busy.
Yeah.
Yep. I do. Yeah. I just feel like I can cope with it a little bit more. Like my eldest son, he was born and he was diagnosed with CF, 2 weeks old. And so
What's CF?
cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. I didn't even know what that was. But it's a life, like he was like 36 years was his life expectancy when he was born. It's way better now, very good medication. But you just got to roll with it. And yeah, your life just pivots. We keep pivoting.
We keep pivoting.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Is there anything you do to stay sane? Like how do you take time out for yourself?
I looked at this question and I was laughing because I think I was thinking like, what is there for you outside the business? And I was like, what do you mean outside the business? What is outside of the business? The business is your life, isn't it?
Yeah, like
it's all consuming.
Well, I love work. I love business. I love running the companies, and it is all consuming. And I'm always thinking about it. But there are things like, you know, I like to have a sauna, or try and go to the gym, or play golf, or you know, get up early before everyone else does, and just have a coffee by myself. You know?
I
think, you know, drive home without the radio on and just sit in my mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm really into books.
Yeah.
I'll be reading and listening to books all day.
I'm an audiobook freak, actually.
Love it.
Yeah.
We love books, but also having the 3 kids, they're right into sports. So, you know, my husband coaches one of the teams.
Soccer?
Swan? No, we play basketball.
Basketball, okay. Yep.
My middle son played soccer. I coached the soccer team. No fucking idea about soccer. Love the Tillies. So, you know, I was like, boys, come on, we can, anyway, pretending to be a soccer star. But now my eldest, he was playing union, now he plays league. So now as a family, we watch the Raiders play, you know, so that's sort of, we just like to go. I went to the Tillies the other night without watching sports. Sports, books. I'd do some like crochet, like a grandmother.
Yeah, okay.
I just like chilling out with the family and the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the dog party.
And like, what's your day look like?
It's so dumb. I'll be up at 5 and I'll do as much as I can for my husband to get the kids ready to go to school. So he's a physio. He has his own business. 3 days a week he takes them to school, maybe 4. I'm supposed to take them to school 2 days a week, but at the moment it's been very tricky because
Hectic, lots going on.
I've been on site at 7 every morning. So, yeah, I get up and try and do as much as I can for them and then head out the door. And then I won't come home until 5:30 or 6. I'll be working all day. I'm supposed to do pickup 2 days a week, but I
You need
can't
to be
get there.
Yeah.
So
it's tough.
sometimes I can. Sometimes the jobs are at a stage where it's fine. But at this point, it's just like go all day, on site, at every site.
Yeah.
Make sure it's all going to plan.
Look, the reason I wanted to touch on these things is because, one, I guess to give people a bit of an insight as to what your day's like. And 2, so that other people that are dealing with the same sort of stuff go, oh, okay, you know, there's other people fighting the good fight, you know, so to speak, as well.
It is a fight.
It is.
But it does come in waves.
It does come in waves.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned before, like, you normally pick up the kids 2 days a week, or you normally drop the kids off two days a week. There are periods in construction, you know, that are really hectic, and then there are other periods where it's, you know,
Slower.
not so hectic.
Easy going.
On site for sure. And I think that's a really cool thing about construction.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that it can be really go, and then at the same, on the same sort of token, a week later it can be like, oh, we're all good now.
Yeah, but it's tricky having like school-aged kids trying to do all the things.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. I've got interviews for my 4-year-old tomorrow to go to kindergarten next year.
Good luck.
So that'll be fun.
School hours,
yeah.
And then school holidays. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's built for.
It's not built for parents.
Working parents.
No.
What made you start She Builds Homes? And what's the goal behind that brand?
Tell me.
You got a good following.
Can you explain it to me though? Because I don't understand. Why did I start it? I don't know.
What is She Builds Homes? Explain it.
So I started it. I was building a dual occy. I had designed everything, built it. I imported everything myself. I imported the tiles, the vanities, whatever else.
Where from?
China, because they come from China anyway. Some of that was good, some was a mistake. But the tiles were great. A lot of the tiles we get here are Chinese anyway. So why not just get my own container?
So you got a container, filled it with all the stuff, got it all over here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Was very hard though, figuring that out, like shipping agents and stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, so I started this because I also sold them myself. So I did the open homes. I staged the houses myself and then photographed them. And then that was how I shared it.
With She Builds.
Yeah.
Right.
And anyway.
So you're selling homes on here?
No, not now.
Not now.
That was just the one project.
Yeah.
And then I just decided to keep going and sharing my experience on site and the things that it's just like a portfolio really to start with because I had all these cool photos. But I do have like a goal for it. I just don't know how to get there.
What's the goal?
The goal is for it to be a space for women that's, sort of like knowledge and help for them to get into the industry. I love Jo, Build Like a Girl. We have chats about this all the time. She's doing a great job helping women in the industry. I want to help that. I want to help people get into it because my path into construction wasn't like like most guys have a trade and then, get out of school or in school, they do their apprenticeship and then they just keep snowballing. Whereas I think that's trickier for women, apprenticeships especially.
Well, young girls, going into a male-dominated
it's hard.
Place. Yeah, it is hard.
And I think that with the way that the world's going, it's getting more and more harder because they want to do things like social media and.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
It shouldn't.
Maybe there's a different avenue. Well, what would be a different avenue, do you think? What would you say to a young girl looking to get? She wants to be a builder. She wants to do what Carly's doing. What would your advice to her be?
You got to do it. You got to get into. I wish I did an apprenticeship, but I just wish that there was more support. I wish it was an easier ride in, and it felt to me like it was completely inaccessible. Like it wasn't even a question. There was in no way could I do that.
That's why you did it.
That's why I did it. But knowing that you can get there other ways, like maybe play to your strengths, like a lot of women are really organised and great with admin. So get into a CA role and learn how construction administration works. Because as you would know, as a builder, not 90%, but so much of our job is administration.
A lot. Yeah.
And it's being well organised and running everything behind the scenes, and that plays a huge role in it.
And having a good memory.
Oh, my memory's shit.
Is that?
Yeah. But we have systems to try and help us.
Most blokes have terrible memories. And anyway.
I think that's an ADHD thing. Anyway, my advice is to get in, but to find someone who can be that mentor for you. And like Jo has been for me, if I have an issue, I can call her. I've got a few tradie friends who are female running their own businesses. Super helpful, but I didn't have that for a long time. And I just felt like a little island by myself with all the boys. And I also have male friends who I talk to now about business and stuff like that. But find someone.
What made you stick with it though? Were there times where you're like, I've had enough of this?
Yeah, but what else would I do? I can't think of anything else that I would like to do.
You're just that passionate.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hate it.
It just seems like you never gave up either.
No.
Like, just meeting you for the first time, you seem like the kind of person that definitely doesn't give up.
Just keep pushing.
Just keep pushing.
Pushing shit uphill.
Yeah. So what made you start She Builds Homes is really you wanted to provide an insight into what you're doing day to day.
I just wanted to share. I'm really nosy, I think is what it is.
Okay.
And I love seeing what other people are doing. I love like really raw and honest behind the scenes. I don't want to see your perfect anything. I want to see how you fucked up.
And can I tell you, that's why I think your social media, like you've got a lot of followers there. I think people really, really like that. You know, they don't want to see the perfectly curated photos all the time. They need to see behind the scenes and they want to see the insulation going in the walls or you know, they want to hear those.
It's a fine line though, because if you expose yourself too much, they'll be like, well, how can I trust you to build my house?
We had an issue with the drain and we did a video on it and it was like one of our best performing videos. Yeah. Turns out the boys filled the pipe with tiling glue and that was fun. We got it sorted out, so that's the main thing. What have you learnt about the power and pressure of sharing online? Got any negative feedback?
You know, I keep expecting it and it's held me back a lot, but I haven't got it. Like I reckon my biggest heckler is my uncle. I don't, it's just a lot of supportive women. And so I have to keep remembering that and keep sharing because I go dark for a long time, all the time. It's the first thing that falls off the list of priorities because I do actual work and then that's just like for fun. So yeah, I've got to keep sharing because it is a lot of women and the feedback that I get is women love to see it and I get a lot of questions about how do I get in? How do I start? Can you help me? And I want to be able to help them. So that's the goal is to...
What do you tell them?
I tell them I'm going to have a night and we're all going to sit down and chat and then I never do it. But that's what I would like to do. But yeah, like I said, it's finding someone who's local to you, who's in the industry, who can help you get in. Or not even help you get in, but like just be your supportive sounding board.
Look, I would say like with women in construction, like my take on it would be I really don't care what gender you are or, you know, or anything else about you. All I care about is results. All I care about is what you offer and what you bring. If you have good ideas, I want to hear them. If you work hard, I want to work with you. You know, like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I feel like, you know, if you take everything off the table and just look at results, you know, that I think that's what should be the most important thing.
Should be. But it's very hard. The feedback that I get, it's very hard for people to get a start, for girls to just get a start. Like one of my very good friends now, she's an electrician. She asked my father for a job when we were in high school. He was like, nah, you're a girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and she's not alone. My chippy, she could not get a job in Canberra, so she went to Melbourne. My other Sparky could not get a job, so she had to start in the office. So it's sort of like you just got to find your way in and keep pushing.
Have you built a network or you've got a little bit of a support group by the sounds of things?
Small, yes.
Small.
But I want to keep building that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know of many other women in construction in Canberra.
Why do you think?
Girls, if you are out there, please.
Yeah, get involved. Get in touch with
Send
Carly.
me a text.
Get in touch with Carly.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think fewer people, especially women, are picking up the tools?
Because it's hard. It's fucking hard. Yeah, like my body's broken. It's not easy work. You got to be up really early and it's cold. And
they're all the negatives.
There are negatives, but I think that holds people back. Also, you know, starting out as an apprentice, wages are shit.
Yeah, you've got to be very resilient.
Yeah, you do.
It can, I think my apprenticeship was, you know, up and down all over the place. It was tough.
Yeah.
You know, the money, you are getting paid to learn, which is cool. But, you know, I didn't want to go to uni either. Got into uni, didn't want to go.
Yep.
My thing was I didn't want to be told what to do. And then I went to work and got told what to do all day. But I was, you know, active and yeah. So
until you could be the boss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's what I enjoyed about it. I just wanted to make money.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're doing a really good job in showing young girls that, you know, you can do it.
Yes.
And yeah, you're definitely leading the way there. And I feel like, you're changing the mentality for people on site that, you said your dad was like, no, you're a girl, you can't. Well, you're definitely changing that mentality.
Hopefully.
And I was, as I said earlier on as well, I think you've got a real advantage there in terms of the design work and being able to deliver and communicate with the decision makers of the home.
Yes.
Have you had any run-ins with clients around your design preferences and their preferences?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Not
no.
yet?
They seem to, if I gently suggest a different solution, they're like, yep.
Go for it.
Yeah, whatever you say. So so far so good. And I mean, like I said, they come to me a lot of the time because they want guidance.
Yeah.
So they're happy to take on my feedback.
Yeah.
But I like to give them, like, it's their house. It's what I say to them all the time. This is your house. This has got to suit you. You've got to love it.
It is tough when they say, what would you do? Like, it's not my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I find difficult.
Yeah. But I mean, you've got the knowledge though as well. So you can say, this is what works really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a general sense.
Advice to a young girl walking onto her first job site.
You got to be tough.
What does tough look like?
It doesn't look like you got to be able to take that, because you're going to get a lot of shit. You're going to get the shit, but you have to be able to just push through and just know that that's on them and that's not you. And even if you're doing the work and it's not in a traditional sense and you're not doing it as the blokes do it, you can do it differently as long as it gets done in the end. I think that's fine. Don't be afraid to do things differently, because we are not built the same. That's okay.
Is Temperley Homes where you want it to be, or is there more to build? What's the plan there?
I feel like I'm an infant. I feel like I've got a long way to go. I'm learning every day. There's so much that I want to do. I like what I'm doing in the mix of, like, I want to do the high end stuff, but my passion is building homes for families and working with their budget and delivering them a home they love to come home to. So I love that. And then also I want to be doing some cool shit on the side.
Like what? Like what cool shit?
Like just taking a piece of shit old house and just giving it another go.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, because we have such a crisis in terms of land, and, there's so many 3-beddies, 1 bathroom on a big block of land, and they just can't be utilised by, like, I've got 3 kids. I can't have a 3-beddie, 1 bath, and I know a lot of other families like mine. So making small family houses. And like you said, the secondary dwellings, love that. Just make it practical. There is so much generational living going on. So
That's
forward
good.
planning. Yeah.
I like the generational living.
Yeah. And also back to that, like the energy efficiency, like just...
We can do things so much better.
Yes.
That was my whole gripe with the approvals, and I'm still talking with them in there at the government at EPSD, and
Yeah.
I just want it to be more accessible for
Yes.
everyone.
Yes. Yes.
Because, like, yes, a builder should know all the answers, but, like, if someone had a set of house plans drawn up and they went in and tried to get things through themselves, like, with no experience, like that would just be a horrific experience for someone, I can think,
Yeah. Even with a pre-application meeting.
Yeah, very difficult. What's working well in your business right now?
I had to think hard about that. I feel like we've got pretty good, like I am pretty tech heavy. So like the systems and programs that I'm using are not...
What are you using? Builder Trend?
I use Build Exact.
Build Exact, yeah.
I use, and it's not even like the most fancy programs, but they work for me. So Build Exact, and then we just have like a hub sort of like software that I use, me and my admin, and then we've got pretty good communication with clients. And that's just on WhatsApp, but that's just like utilizing technology. We use SketchUp, we use Layout to do all of our plans.
So you set up a WhatsApp group with your clients and
Yeah.
feed as much information as you can in there?
Yep, just like open, clear communication the whole time. That's just, they just know that that's the spot that we can all have a chat. And it's not like, you send an email and then 3 business days later you'll get back to them.
Yeah, email's quite formal and quite,
Yep.
it can be a bit taken out of context, I guess.
Yep, and it's just like a group, I can have my admin person, I can have the foreman if we've got a foreman on site, and the clients. Works great.
Yep.
So that communication is working really well.
Communication's key.
Yep. And also the collaboration, not just with myself and the clients, but with my trades, because we've all been together for so long now. Everyone knows each other. So it's really nice, like on site when I've got some trades and then, you know, if there's crossover, everyone knows each other and everyone understands each other's work. And like I said before, that forward planning and thinking about what's coming after them.
Sounds like you got a really good team behind you.
I think so. I like my trades.
Yeah. And it's just that communication is key for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also I think having a background, like working for subbies, I understand a bit about how they work and so how best to support them is really important.
Definitely. What's not working well? What's still a battle?
Time management, right?
Are you using something for that? You got Google Calendars?
Oh yeah, I've got calendars, but like
Calendars?
I'll double book myself still. Doesn't it's more just like there's just not enough hours of the day at some stages. Like at this stage right now where I'm working just too many hours and I haven't been in the office for 2 weeks.
Because you're on site?
Because I'm on site.
Looking after... Do you need to be there every day though?
So, yes, I do. I do trust my trades, obviously. But every day there's something that pops up. Something just needs confirming. I just need to check that everything's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot myself because I just love it. I love being on site and doing stuff and getting stuck in. And also with renovations, there's so many tiny, stupid little things that I'm not going to call the chippy for. I'm not going to call someone else to do a line of silicon. But like you've got to be able to do everything.
Yeah. What's really shining through there is how much you care for your builds as well.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like you treat each one of these builds as your little baby.
I know. I probably shouldn't, but I do. I care a lot.
Where are you headed next? Design, in business, in legacy. Let's say we were going to talk in 10 years. Where can I expect you to be?
Oh,
It's a tough one.
I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Tell me about it.
It'd be like I'd love to be. I'm still doing this, which is surprising actually. I'm not like on an island relaxing. I'm still doing this, but it's just a bigger scale, and I'd have a better team, and we'd have a premises, and we'd have a good reputation, and I'd be doing jobs that are really exciting, and with budgets that are not unlimited, but you know, clients can afford to do it. And I'm also doing property development.
Yeah. That sounds really interesting. We'll have to check back in 10 years.
But also, how fun would it be to do like restaurants and stuff?
That would be cool.
Right? I always go into cafes and restaurants and things and I'm like, oh, I just fucking love it. Because they're so...
Raku? Have you been there?
I haven't been there, no.
Been there? Okay. Definitely go there.
Okay.
Check that out.
I went to Inca though.
Inca? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
Just sick. Just, you know, like what are you doing? And how did you do that? I want to do it.
So, yeah, like every other builder, you'll be looking at every different detail in there as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
All right, quick fire round, but it's never quick fire.
Yeah, right.
What's one tool you can't live without on site?
I just always have my blade in my pocket.
Your blade in your pocket? What are you...
Are you scared?
What are you talking about there?
I just always have a
Stanley
blade.
knife?
Yeah, always have a Stanley knife or just like, you know, just the little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that all girls should have one in their pocket all the time.
Yep.
For the girls, but also just like, there's always something that needs opening.
There is. Yeah. Just before you came in, I opened up a chair and I had my hunting knife, which I used to open letters on the front desk. And I
think
was
you
like,
should get a smaller knife.
I should put that away.
Yeah.
What's the biggest building myth that makes you roll your eyes?
That women don't belong in construction.
I agree.
Kills me.
100%.
Yeah.
If you could fix one thing in the construction industry tomorrow, what would that be?
You've already said it, but it's accessibility. It's making the industry more accessible for women, and it's making homes and better homes more accessible for everyone else.
Definitely. I think the culture is definitely shifting. It's just not fast enough.
No. But it's also like, I'm actually pretty scared because I don't know what the solution is. The cost of construction is astronomical, and I don't know how to change that. And like, how do people afford to... Yeah, it's a common problem that I have.
You mentioned payroll tax just before we sat down. That to me can go. because that is a useless tax.
That's why I haven't taken on too many more staff.
It's
I don't know.
it's a killer, and it's what's it for?
I don't know.
All right, if you could fix one thing in the industry tomorrow, what would it be?
It is what you already said, and it is accessibility for women to get into the industry and be in the industry, and also for construction to be more accessible for families, to be able to build a house, renovate a house, and it not be so expensive and time consuming and difficult.
We're talking about ways to make that easier, and I sort of mentioned there, get rid of GST on new builds.
That's a good thing to suggest. Yeah.
When you buy a new home, you don't pay GST. You pay stamp duty, yes. You don't pay GST. If you look at the GST, you were doing a new build. You got GST on every subby. You got GST on every material, and the client is paying for that. So I think it's sort of double dipping a little bit.
Who's building new houses though?
That's true. That's true. We do need more land, and we've got a big target here in the ACT, 30,000 homes to build. I still can't say that with a straight face. Best advice you've ever received?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I was trying to think about this for a long time and I couldn't. I've had so much negativity and I haven't had a lot of like positive leaders in my career. So it's probably just something shit that someone said to me and I've just used it as fuel. You know what I mean?
So take the negativity and
just
turn it into positivity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just keep going. That's
just keep going.
Just keep going.
Dory.
Yeah.
No, very good.
Dory. Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self?
To back myself and to be confident because that's a big struggle. And I think I'm not alone as a woman, or especially a woman in construction. It's really hard to be confident in yourself when surrounded by men who say they know better and they probably do know better. But our thoughts are valid and our opinions are valid and we've got to believe it.
Definitely. I think take the woman part out of that and just believe in yourself. Like,
yes, it doesn't matter if you're a woman.
It doesn't matter if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Stand behind your ability and stand behind what you can do and, prove them wrong.
Yes.
What do you do outside of work that keeps you sane? We touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, because I was laughing because there was no outside of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, being a mum of 3 boys, we are into the sports. It's also just like when I'm with them and when it's the weekend, I'm really good at switching off. And so I try and tell my clients, don't talk to me unless it's an emergency. Otherwise, don't talk to me outside of business hours because then I'll switch into work mode. But it's really good to be in family home mode and be playing with the dogs. And we live on a property, so there's lots of adventures outside and we love going to the beach.
So switch off when you're not at work.
Yeah.
That's your key.
Yes.
Be in the moment. Be present.
Be present. Get outside. Go for a walk.
Great idea.
Get some really good books to listen to.
One builder, tradie or designer you think deserves a shout out?
Okay, so I've got 3.
3. Okay. Perfect.
Not one of each. My joiners at Paramount Creations, every single time they'll go above and beyond. Every time I'll pick up the phone and I'll call them and be like, listen, I've got a 1,500 mil opening. Can you build me a door? Because I could not find a good solution to have a doorway that was 1,500 wide. I was going to do bifolds. They look like fucking shit. I said, please build me a door. They built me a door to match the other door. They put it in a track. They made a cavity slider for me. Okay. So that's just the kind of thing that they do. Not just for me. I think they do that for all of their clients.
And that's Paramount
Creations.
Paramount Creations.
And they do renovations and stuff.
Yeah.
I use them for joinery, but
fantastic. I
fantastic.
Love that. Solution focused. We love that.
And so then so Empowered Electrical, my Sparkies have recently they've gone 2 separate ways. They're going to do.
There's 2 separate businesses?
2 separate businesses now. We've got Empowered Electrical and Hale Electrical, Sally and Caitlin, and they're doing amazing work. And they're just like a couple of gals who are focused on quality, but in the same time, they want to do a really good job for their clients. And I love working with them. Yep. More girls. We need more girls.
More girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. And who else? You had 3. There's 2.
Well, that's 3 now. So
3.
Paramount, Empowered, and
who should we get on the podcast? One of the girls?
Oh yeah, Joe. You should get Joe on the podcast.
Joe?
Yeah, Joe Farrell.
Yep.
Joe's amazing. She runs Build Like a Girl. She
She was
Built
actually
the
at the,
fucking war memorial.
she was at the WorkSafe construction industry breakfast.
Yeah.
I saw her there.
Yeah. I mean, she's probably sick of doing all this shit because she was Australian of the Year. She's really sick of this shit. But she's a great voice.
She definitely is.
Yeah.
Good advocate for women in construction. for
Amazing. I don't think there's anyone better.
sure. Where can people follow your work and get in touch? At Templey Homes on Instagram.
I have not updated that one. At Templey Homes, at Xav Builds
I've got that here.
Yeah, there you go.
Here it is.
Look at
Looks beautiful.
Oh. Taylor Cunningham. Oh, Taylor Cunningham.
Taylor Cunningham.
There you
Yes.
go. She takes all my photos.
Lovely.
She's so good.
Oh, I love that.
She does a
story.
fantastic job. And she's just fun. She's a good time. So if you're looking for a, construction photographer,
And
she's your gal.
you've obviously got your Instagram here, which is She Builds Homes.
Yeah. I wanted to separate them because then I was like, I'm just being too much of a
Well,
silly
that's your personal profile.
So,
And then you've got your business profile
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And I wanted to pull this up.
Oh, yeah.
This was your, maybe later.
Maybe later.
I wanted to pull this up. This is your Canberra Times article.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
But see, that was even before I started building for clients. So that was me like really pretending.
Yeah,
Because I
right.
was just building for our family business.
Now you're doing it.
Yeah. So yeah. I
All
should
by
do that
yourself.
now. Yeah.
And we've got your website here.
Yeah.
So if you want to get in touch with Carly, that's your best way to do it.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a little work with us button. You just push that button.
hit that and away you go.
Yep.
Now, just to finish us off,
Mm-hmm.
one line or motto that gets you through the tough stuff. What do you tell yourself when everything's gone bad and, you've had enough?
Well, in that case, we just got to keep going. Like we've been saying the whole time, we just keep going because we can figure it out. Whatever the problem is, there's always a solution. I don't tend to freak out too badly because I just am problem solving all the time. When I'm getting down mentally, a lot of the time we'll be comparing ourselves to someone else on social media. And I'll be looking at the guys and I'm thinking, they know more than me. They're doing a better job than me. They're more experienced. I don't know what I'm doing. You know that train of thought?
I do.
And
It's that negative spiral, I call that.
Yeah, but it's really easy to get into, especially on social media. That's why I like to put out an image that's not so, polished. Anyway, what I tell myself is to just stay in your own lane. And everyone's got their own journeys in their own time and just focus on yourself and your lane and then you feel much better. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Carly, thank you so much for joining me. The industry needs more people like yourself. I'm really impressed with what you're doing and I'm looking forward to catching up again in the future.
Yes. Thank you. It was so good to meet you.